And welcome to Black Renaissance. I'm your host, Christin Ayers. It's been 40 years since the story of Alex Haley's search for his family's African roots made television history. Now, this classic tale is no longer just a piece of TV trivia. It's back like you've never seen it before. I talked with some of the original Roots cast and crew members about this powerful drama. Take a look.
You must hear your name first. You are Kunta Kinte, son of a moron Binta Kinte.
It's Alex Haley's Roots as you've never seen it. An American classic remade 40 years later for a new generation. For executive producer Mark Wolper, the story of Roots is in his blood, and the pressure to update the movie has been constant.
I inherited the legacy of producing Roots from my father, who produced the original one. And over the years, for the last 40 years, because this is a 40-year anniversary, I've been asked over and over again, let's do Roots again, let's do Roots again, let's do Roots again. And my answer categorically, always without thinking about it, was no. We're never going to do Roots again.
Why not?
I mean, that would be like taking the greatest piece of television produced and trying to do it again, trying to do it in the shadow of your father who produced the original one, and trying to do it in the political, social environment that's going on in America right now.
Kunta Kinte, are you to be a child forever?
I did not forget.
Then you decided it would be better to disobey those instructions and...
I saw white men.
The original Roots was watched in 85% of American households when it debuted in 1977. But Wolper says when he showed the original to his teenage son,
he did not want to watch it. He couldn't sit there. He was battling with me. I physically, literally had to hold him to get him invested in it. And when it was over, he said something very interesting. He goes, "All right, Dad, I understand now why Roots is really important. But I have to tell you, it's sort of like your music. It doesn't speak to me and it doesn't speak to my generation." And it was in that moment that I realized why I had to do Roots again.
Wolper set out to create a Roots that young people could relate to and invited actor and filmmaker Mario Van Peebles to direct part 2 of the series.
And I said, will I be able to bring what I need to bring to this? So I'm not really interested in just doing a movie about the American horror story of slavery. I want to do a movie about our struggle, our empowerment, and our overcoming. That's what interests me. Somehow, without even knowing our names, without knowing our religions, without knowing our real music or our real food, we became jazz musicians and governors and senators and ball players and presidents and educators and filmmakers and doctors and reporters and camera people. We didn't just survive, we thrived. And that's what interests me. How did we do that? How did we make a way out of no way? So when he asked me to direct Night 2 of Roots, I said, I want to make a film that shows that, that moves you emotionally, but also makes you look at the parallels.
That meant making Roots for millennials in the era of Ferguson, Trayvon Martin, and Black Lives Matter. The result? A story that is undoubtedly grittier and more violent than the original, with an even stronger streak of resistance.
They can put the chains on your body. Never let them put the chains on your mind.
Well, it's beautiful. It's very well done. And also, the first night I watched it, I was like, this is more gory than Game of Thrones. So it was hard to watch. It was a hard watch. It was very emotional, but it was beautiful, and I was so appreciative to be able to be in it.
Kiami Nichols plays a small part, the mother of the slave Noah, who is played by Mario Van Peebles' own son, Mandela Van Peebles, a role that Mario admits was difficult to watch.
It was hard for me, not just as a filmmaker, but hard for me as a father to shoot that.
Roots also brings a powerful sense of history.
We had a large panel of historians working for us from different expertise areas. And we sat them down at the beginning of the process of writing this and we said, tell us 20 things that have never been told in film or television before about the slave experience, African, Middle Passage, and American slave experience. And we took all 20 of those interesting, unusual, unknown stories, and for the first time ever, put them in to this miniseries.
How many of you saw the new miniseries? The cast of Roots, the new series, and the original sat down with me on stage at Oakland's Scottish Rite Center recently to talk about the legacy of Roots. Original cast member Louis Gossett Jr. admitted he was initially reluctant to see what he called lightning in a bottle remade.
I immediately thought that they're gilding the lily, but then when he explained that his children didn't understand the original, it is all right for him.
Roots is not just a look back. It's got to be a look now. History doesn't just repeat itself. It also rhymes. So what does slavery rhyme with? Slavery rhymes with the prison industrial complex, right? So if you're a slave, you're probably on lockdown, you work for very little money, and your citizenship has been denied you. If you're a prisoner and you've fallen prey to the system, same thing. You're denied your citizenship, you're on lockdown, and you work for very little money. So we now incarcerate more people than we've enslaved.
My name is Kuta Kinte.
It's a powerful movie. You won't want to miss Roots, the remake. It's streaming online on Netflix and Hulu. Check your listings for information. And coming up, the Daraja Academy in Kenya when Black Renaissance returns in a moment.
Bye.